Good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning for the Arkansas State Fair Information Webinar. I'm Dr. Chelsea Kimbrough. I'm the Youth Livestock and Small Ruminant Specialist with the University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture Cooperative Extension Service. And this morning we've also got Mr. Chris Backus. He's the Arkansas FFA State Advisor. Ms. Tanya Stark, who's the Livestock Assistant Director at the Arkansas State Fair, and also Mr. Doug White, who's the new President and General Manager at the Arkansas State Fair. And Doug's got some words for us this morning.
Thank you, Chelsea, and thank you, attendees, and thank you, Cooperative Extension, for hosting us today for this important webinar. My name is Doug White, and right at 4 months ago, I assumed the duties of President and General Manager for your Arkansas State Fair. It was a whirlwind couple of weeks in December. Many of you are aware of the circumstances surrounding the fact that we needed to go to the General Assembly for some capital to help us pay our creditors and our bills, and to have an operating budget that we could work with in 2019. I was a board member for 9 years. Prior to that, I served 25 years in the electric cooperative utility industry. I've had a passion for the State Fair ever since I arrived here in 1996, and was privileged to be on the board for 9 years. When we went to the legislature to seek some infusion of capital, it was at that point that our President and General Manager, Mr. Ralph Choctaw, announced his retirement. At the December 20th meeting, before we went to the Arkansas legislature, the board asked that I step in as the interim President and General Manager, and I happily and humbly did so. Now, 4 months later, the dust is sort of settling a little bit. I will tell you that the biggest component of these first 4 months has been what we're going to talk to you about today, and that's livestock, the livestock show, and making this year's fair the best experience that we can for all of our attendees, particularly livestock, because that's our mission, that's our focus. I want to thank Chelsea, I want to thank Chris, I want to thank Tanya for their yeoman's work in putting together the schedule that you're about to see, the fee structure, some of the changes that we're going to try to bring about, all being kid focused. That's what our mission is, and that's what we're here today to. So thank you all for attending. I look forward to serving you, and I look forward to a very successful 2019 Arkansas State Fair.
Yes, thank you, Doug. We're excited as well. So just a little FYI, there is a Q&A on your computer. So if you have questions throughout the webinar, feel free to type those in. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. And Tanya is going to lead us off. So Tanya?
Good morning. Again, I am Tanya Stark. I am the Assistant Livestock Director at the State Fair in the Livestock Office. So we're going to get started this morning with a PowerPoint that you guys can follow along with. And we're going to share some useful information with you. And again, if you have any questions, just chime in. We're going to start with some rule changes. These are new for this year. This is a big one. Drenching of livestock will be allowed in designated areas. This is only with a drench gun. It does not mean you can stomach pump cattle, or it is a drench gun, and it will be monitored, and there will be designated areas that will be assigned, and you'll know where those are. There will not be a miniature cattle show except for miniature Herefords, and this show will be included with our cattle during our cattle time, the regular junior and open cattle. All species must have a minimum of 10 head. This will include our market animals, specifically our hogs. So make sure you have 10 head or you will be put in ALB. Market shows will not be terminal. Deadline to order DNA kits have changed. They are a month ahead. It will be June instead of July. Again, deadline to enter online and have it postmarked will be July 1st. Farm visits will be conducted. Signature forms will not be required. Will not. And we are super excited about that. All right, the protest fee has increased to $250. Moving right along. Entry fees have increased across all species, and And those will be put on our website before long. We are working on our fall book, and so all of this will be on our website before long. There will be a $10 charge for Pee Wee swine entries, and this is basically just to cover the cost of awards. It's not, they are just Pee Wees, and we do want to get them involved, and so this will just cover all the award cost. All exhibitors will be required to purchase an exhibitor pass that is $25, and that will be for parents and siblings as well. It must be purchased ahead of time off of our website, and hopefully through our ShowWorks, we're trying to create a link to go straight to our Ticketmaster, and so hopefully we'll have that all worked out. But you will be required to purchase them online ahead of time. Replacement ear tags, they have increased to $100. You cannot buy them on site, and the replacements this year, you must pull DNA and send in with the tags. We have superintendents of each species that if it's within reason or close enough that they'll be pulling it. If not, then they will designate a person within the county, probably an FFA advisor or an extension agent, to submit that DNA. No camping on the west side of Swine Barn. That's closest to the railroad tracks. This area will be used for goat and lamb grooming, and there will be a stand charge of $10. These are just rules to remember. These are not new rules. We do conduct random farm checks, and this year there will be more. We did away with the terminal show, and so the board wants us to do more random farm checks. No late entries for market animals. This is not new. This is a big thing that a lot of time has been put in on this year. It's the schedule change. There are quite a few, so we'll start with the main ones. Breeding beef. The shows will be held on Saturday and Sunday, the 12th and 13th. I'll let you look over that a few minutes. Or a few seconds, not a few minutes. But again, the junior shows will be held on Saturday and Sunday morning. Moving along to let me go back. The open shows, those will be held on Sunday and Monday. Those will start after the junior shows on Sunday. Around noon, we'll begin judging open beef, and that will continue through Monday. So all of the cattle will be here at the same time, and we're hoping that's going to be a really good change. Commercial heifers and steers, each of those have been moved. On Wednesday, October the 16th, the commercial heifers will be judged, and on Thursday, October the 17th, the steers will be judged. Market lambs, the weather dam ewes, and the ABL, these have all moved up a day. Usually they show on Saturday, or the market, normally shows on Saturday, and they have been moved up to Friday. And the reasoning behind this, the market goats have always kind of been stuck in the equestrian center and not really had a home. And so this year we've moved them around to where the goats can make use of the swine barn as well and have a home. So the market lambs will be judged Friday. Market goats, they will be judged on Sunday this year instead of on Monday. So they've each moved up a day. Let you take a look at that schedule. The swine, there really wasn't no schedule change. The only big change was that the breed hogs are going to show on the same day as the lightweight crossbreds, and that break is going to be at 230 pounds. And so we hope that this will be a good change and not cause too many problems. And the crossbred market hogs will end at 280 as usual and start at 231. Dairy cattle, the show has moved. We've moved it during the week. So take a look at this schedule. They'll be showing on Thursday. We will have 2 rings and 2 separate judges so that we can complete all the dairy cattle in one day. Rabbits, we did have a change on that. Friday, October the 11th, the market rabbits, the single fryers and meat pens will be judged in their own show. That will be Friday night. Everything else stayed the same. Saturday, junior show. There will be 2 junior shows this year, but only one will be an award show or a money premium show. The other will just be a point show for ARBA. And then Sunday, of course, is the open rabbits, and they will be showing in the poultry barn this year. We've kind of outgrown the rabbit barn, and so they will be shown in the poultry barn. Sale of champions and scholarships. There have been a couple of changes made to that. This year, for 2019, each exhibitor will only be allowed 1 animal for the sale of champions or scholarship. If you have more than 1 grand reserve, you still will be rewarded and be able to sell or get a scholarship for that. But all others, one animal per exhibitor. The scholarship has changed this year. There's not going to be a designated number of scholarships in any species. It's not going to be published in the book to where they will be awarded. It's going to go by what money was raised per species. We're not going to award a scholarship that's not been money been raised for it. So, and then the sale of champions has changed to the last Friday of the fair. It will be the 18th at 2 p.m. instead of 12. As we talked about earlier, the deadlines have changed for the market animals. We did combine the steers with the sheep and the lambs, the goats, and the hogs. Instead of them having to be a month early, we're doing them all at the same time, and they did move up a month to June 1st. Submit it and entered online by July 1st. And DNA mailed in by July 1st. This is just a sample of the DNA kit. Nothing's changed on that. It's still the same envelope. This is what you will get with your DNA kit. The instructions, of course, the DNA envelope, ear tag and back, and the packing slip, and your password. And it's going to stay the same. It's not changed in 6 years now. So. And once again, the ShowWorks entries can only be entered by an FFA advisor or 4-H or extension agent. They can only be ordered by these, the FFA advisor or the 4-H or extension agent, and they can only be entered. Same information needed: name, address, phone number, date of birth, social security number, and club or school. Social security number, a lot of people call, and I get a lot of people that don't want to enter that, but it is very secure. It's a very secure site, and that is only because at the end of the year when I have to send out, the 1099s, I don't have to chase down social security numbers. So there is a reason. And there's our website. Check with it often, especially coming up in the next month. We'll be putting all of our fall stuff on our website, and right now you can go on it and print off your DNA entry forms. All that information is already posted. So this is just what you'll see when you go to our website. You'll click on the events tab. Click on Livestock Info under the Events tab, and this will prompt you to a calendar, and you can click on any day. Every day is the same except for May. If you're looking for items specific to the spring show, you'll go over to May, and you'll click on the spring show information instead of livestock general information. And that's where it'll lead you to, our livestock general information page, and this is where you'll find all of our information. Breeding and dairy entries, those did not change. The deadlines are all still the same. Entries are due September 1st. Ownership for junior, July 15th. Ownership for open is 30 days prior to the opening day of the state fair. Original registration papers at check-in. We won't take copies. They must be the original. Late entries, we are going to have a late entry date this year again of September 10th. Nothing after that. They must be done by paper, and there is a considerable, a pretty large fee to enter late, and that's only because we have to hand enter those once they're entered. So exhibitors can enter their own animals. That's very important on the breeding animals, the dairy and the rabbits. You can enter your own animals. Your FFA advisor or your extension agent is not responsible for entering these breeding animals. You can enter those on your own. Poultry, still the same, paper entries. Hopefully by next year we'll have the poultry online. That's our goal. Must be postmarked by September 15th. Spring show, today is the deadline, so you should have entered today for the cattle, goats, and poultry. Poultry must be postmarked today, and cattle and goats must be entered online today, and rabbits. And then our market lambs, that deadline's not till May the 1st, but all the others, today is the deadline. The entry fees and payouts have changed, and this is due to the spring show is just always been a loss for us, and so with all the changes this year and trying to make it, hopefully have another spring show next year, we had to do some changes on entry fees and payouts. So you can take a look at our website. That's all posted in our handbook. Check the website. All the changes are posted. When we make changes, it may take us a couple of days to get them all written out and put on our website, but we do post everything, and so keep a check on the website. This is our information. If you have any questions, I am available at this number, and most of y'all do have my cell number. We've got Doug, who is also available at the office. Chelsea and Chris, of course, you know how to reach them. They are always available, and so I guess we're going to wait for questions.
Okay, so one question that we have is concerning the passes. Is that including parking, or what does the $25 include?
It is. It is a parking and gate. Parking and gate is all included in that, and we've been getting some calls on that because they're not getting a free pass this year. But this does include your family, your mom and dad and your siblings, and so all of you guys will be able to get a pass for $25.
Okay, another question. What about the educational contests and the skill-a-thons that have been done? How is that going to be handled this year?
Sure. Let me flip to that. I'm sorry, I did miss out on that. The last Saturday of the fair, which is,
the 19th?
The 19th, yes. Where did I write that, Chelsea? The last Saturday of the fair is going to be used for an educational day for FFA and 4-H. It'll be like all the skill-a-thons will be held, and there are other events being planned at this time. Chelsea and Chris are working with their advisors and stuff on planning but it will be a 4-H and FFA day, and all the skill-a-thons will be held on that day. So keep a check on our schedule, and we'll be posting other events that will be done on that last Saturday of the fair.
Okay, and then on that, is it $25 per person or per family?
The $25 is per person. It is a huge discount from before. Parents and siblings were required to pay $60 in the past for a pass, and that is for gate and parking, and this year it is $25. So it is a pretty considerable discount, but it is per person, and it will be for parking and gate for the duration of the fair.
If I may, we did a lot of research regarding what other state fairs were doing in terms of exhibitor passes. And this seems to be consistent with most other state fairs, that there's just one season pass at a significantly discounted rate versus what we had done in the past, which was effectively to mail gate admission and parking passes per exhibitor. Now we can include the whole family, and hopefully that'll be a better transition for you without too much of a financial hardship. Second thing I wanted to mention is regarding the website. All of the information, as Tanya has mentioned, is being posted on the website. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we're working on a comprehensive overhaul of our website. We recognize that it's fairly weak. It's cumbersome. It's not very user-friendly. We're working to fix all of those things. So hopefully sometime this summer, you'll see a spanking new, much more user-friendly website.
Okay, some more questions. So are there any changes to the breeding goats, and will there be a stand fee like the market goats for grooming stands?
There will be. All of our small animals will have a stand fee, and that will be good for the fair. I mean, we're gonna, if you show lambs and goats and you pay your $10 stand fee for your lambs, which will be the first thing coming into show, that stand is marked for the duration of the fair.
Great. Can you talk about the ambassador program and if they'll be required to purchase a pass?
The ambassadors in the past have always gotten, a pass to get in. Their family, of course, that will be driving them will be required to purchase a pass. The ambassadors, we're in the process of kind of working on that program, and so we'll have more information released as soon as it's available. But yes, the ambassadors will continue to get a pass, but their families will be required to purchase.
Great, lots of pass questions. So the 4-H kids entering the watermelon pumpkin contest, will they have to buy a pass for that event?
That is something that's through the creative arts department, and that is something being looked at. All of the small, not livestock. Livestock are here longer, and the creative arts are usually just in for a day, and so that is all still in the works being looked at right now. We're just focused on livestock as far as what I do, and so I'm not able to answer that. And Doug may have a little more input on that.
Livestock had some more significant deadlines, obviously, than the other areas that are going on at the fair. For instance, creative arts, we've got a little bit of time there. The pageant, we've got a little bit of time there as well. What we're trying to do is to get as consistent as we can. But as Tanya mentioned, our livestock folks are unique in that they're here usually for multiple days. And so that's why the season pass is probably more applicable to them. For creative arts, being here for just one day, we may have to augment their pass program a little bit more to make it fair. And we're in the midst of that right now.
Okay. More questions. Will there be a designated parking area for exhibitors?
There will not. It's not been discussed that. I know several of the people who raise fundraisers for the different species. I know they have talked about auctioning off some special parking, but no, the exhibitors will still be required to come in through gate 11 and they will be parked down in the south lot as usual. We just don't have the parking area for exhibitors around the barns, and so
we have been in discussions with the folks that own the property to our west, the Hastings group, where we've had some of our trailer parking in the past. We have expanded that. There's actually additional parking on the Hastings lot, which is west of the fairgrounds, to the south. And hopefully, I know there's been a lot of questions about can we park everyone and can everybody get their trailers in. We think we've got a solution to that. All of the planning that's been done by these three folks, along with myself, has been with the input of all of our breed superintendents. And most importantly, Pete Furman, who's our operations and maintenance personnel manager, has assured us that he thinks this schedule will work in terms of cleanup, getting the barns clean and ready, parking, etc., and also just handling the the throng of folks that are here while we have a busy weekend with our other fairgoers. So hopefully we've ameliorated that.
Okay. In the past, they've used pen space for dairy goats for milk stands. Will they be required to purchase a stand space for their milk stands as well?
That has not been brought up, but that is, I mean, milking your dairy goats, that's kind of a requirement, you know, and so, or not a requirement, but something that you just have to do. And so I don't see where that's going to play in. Basically what we're referring to are grooming stands, not really the milking stands or anything as that. So that's something that I do need to make a note on and discuss, but I don't know how Doug feels about it, but I don't think, I mean, I think dairy goats, they must do their milking, and so I think this is strictly for grooming.
Okay, so our stands, like, and I think you might have just touched on this, the ones that are off the ground, like what about a show rail, like the breeding sheep folks use, that they're only on the ground and have 5 spots for their sheep or goats? Will there be a fee for that?
If they are using a different space other than their stalls for grooming, there will be a grooming stand fee.
Okay. So back on the passes, so rollers, they come in one day. Will they also, they come in and leave the same day. Will they also get a 1-day pass?
We will have day passes available for purchase at a discount. We don't have the fee. We haven't decided a fee for the day passes yet, but Livestock will have a special fee for day passes as well, just as they will for an exhibitor pass. So we are working on day pass fees. And so yes, any livestock exhibitor will be required to pay for a day pass or an exhibitor pass. We just haven't determined the fee for the days.
And again, this is trying to keep up with what other state fairs are doing. It's my understanding that the last fee structure increase that we had was across the board has been many years. And so when we looked at this, Chelsea did a lot of research in what other fairs were charging from the fee structure. And we think we've been fairly modest with the increases. We recognize there's a financial hardship for our exhibitors. We want to be as fair as we can. But we also know that there's a lot of eyes on us this year for this year's fair. You've got a legislature and a general assembly and a governor's office that are looking at our fair this year with a little bit more scrutiny. So we're trying to make it as user-friendly as we can, recognizing that there's also a financial consideration to maintain a budget and to operate profitably.
Thank you. Okay, so just curious, why is this a non-terminal market show where it was terminal last year? Why did we go back?
Okay. Basically, we did bring this before the board. Our board is being very active in our livestock shows. We have a board who's wanting to make a big difference in our livestock shows. But we the terminal show, I guess basically we don't have enough research to maybe do it the way that it should be done, and we are working toward that. It's not, I mean, next year it may change to where we are prepared to do a terminal show, but there's just still a whole lot of unanswered questions to doing a terminal show and doing the carcass and donation of the meat. And so that's about my understanding of the terminal. Doug?
Tanya's right. The board deliberated on this at a link. There was a lengthy discussion about this subject. And as most of you know, Senator Bruce Mallet from Magnolia is our board chairman. And Bruce has been active in the livestock show for 40 years and felt strongly that we kind of dropped the ball last year with our first foray into a terminal show. And again, because this year is so unique, and I hate to keep using that as a crutch, but it's true. Because this year is so unique, we felt that we should just be better focused on the value for our exhibitors, our kids, and for the folks. And instead of inventing rules to address a minority, we want to help the majority to have a better experience. That's not to say that we won't look at this next year, The board made it pretty clear, actually, that they will deliberate on this subject next year. We heard the complaints from the folks that wanted to maintain a terminal show. We heard you, we listened. The board just felt that, again, because this year is so unique, that instead of adding that additional burden, we would not have a terminal show this year, and instead, as Tanya mentioned in her opening comments, really concentrate on farm visits a little bit more, and so you'll be hearing more about that.
Okay, thank you. So another past question. Okay, so the exhibitors has paid for registration, so now they also have to pay for a pass?
That is correct. Registration is a separate fee that gets you, in the show. That's your entry fee. The pass fee is totally separate. And like I had mentioned before, hopefully we can put a link through our ShowWorks to prompt you to the eTix site. That's who we use for our online tickets and such. But hopefully we can get a link established through ShowWorks to lead you to your ticket site. But the pass fee is separate. It is $25 and it is per person.
Thank you. What is the purpose for the earlier DNA order deadline?
Well, that was just, don't really have a clear answer, but that is something that all the superintendents got together and wanted to get that, get the steers and the goats, the lambs and the hogs all together. And so that was kind of a happy medium versus May all the way to July. We settled on June. And also it'll establish your ownership deadline by July 1 by the submission of the DNA, which in the past your ownership was supposed to be July 1, but there was no way to really make sure that was being followed. Well, now by your submission of DNA, that July 1 will be your ownership date, and we will have that proof that you do have your animal on site by the ownership deadline of July 1.
Okay, so we got a couple poultry questions here. So were there any changes to the poultry show?
There were not any changes to the poultry show. Everything stayed the same with the poultry show as far as the schedule. Still going to be the last Friday of the fair, and they will all show on Friday, showmanship as well. And the broilers, their schedule stayed the same. They'll show on the opening weekend.
Awesome. And then since poultry exhibitors turn in a paper entry, how will they buy their exhibitor passes?
There will be a link on our website. Make sure you check our website often, but there will be a separate link on our website, separate from ShowWorks, that you can go on and purchase your exhibitor pass or your day passes. Some poultry, they find it better just to purchase a couple of day passes. And so that will be available on our website.
Okay, I think that's all the questions. Okay. Well, I think we've got all of the questions that came in answered. So we want to thank Tanya and Doug for coming in this morning and doing this. Hopefully this cleared the air on some questions that people have had. We really appreciate Chris and all the crew over there at the FFA office for helping out as well. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.